Hmm, I wonder what we're gonna talk about today at our Junior Rangers. Birds, we're gonna talk about birds, right? Um, how about, the ocean, we're gonna talk about the ocean, right? Well, hmm, how about snakes? Are we gonna talk about snakes and reptiles today? Yes. That is what we're going to be talking about. And oh, wait, I forgot. I have my friend, the gopher snake here. This is Greg, the gopher snake. And yep, we're really excited to be able to share with you some of the reptiles who call our state parks their home. And it'll be pretty amazing, right? But wait a second. Snakes at the beach? Are there snakes at the beach? Yep. There are snakes at the beach. And as a matter of fact, I've seen quite a number of different snakes that live along our coastline, including right on the sandy shores and the rocky areas and the tide pools. So I invite you all to join me today as we explore some of these snakes who call our coast their home. And we'll even see some of those snakes that I've encountered along the way. Snakes can be found just about anywhere. Take a look around. Do you notice anything in the kelp along the shore here at Gaviota State Park? Why, of course, it's a gopher snake. Well, this goes to show us that we always have to be cautious of where we're at because there could be a snake there. Now, Greg here is a gopher snake, just like the gopher snake that I saw here at Gaviota State Park. Yep, gopher snakes are a very important species of snake. Now, snakes, like our gopher snakes, they like to eat rodents, like gophers and squirrels. Those are some popular food choices that they eat. And snakes, they're very important because they help minimize the amount of those rodents that we have living in our state parks. Can you guess what snake this is slithering through our state park? Well, if you said that this was a gopher snake, you got it right. These gopher snakes love to eat gophers, squirrels, and other rodents. This is a non-venomous snake and is one of the most commonly sighted snakes in our parks. Can you guess what snake this is? Well, if you said that this was a king snake, you got it right. More specifically, we call this a California king snake. Now, these king snakes, they're also a non-venomous snake to humans. Well, these snakes, they can occasionally be found snacking on rattlesnakes. Yep, they do indeed eat rattlesnakes. Pretty cool, huh? Well, now there are several other snake species in our parks, such as this garter snake, and of course, this yellow striped racer snake. Well, and snakes, they like to live in rocky areas just like this here. Well, because there are actually a lot of food that lives in here. A lot of the ground squirrels can be found burrowing in these rocks. We see a lot of them here. And so snakes, they like the rocky areas because they also use these rocks to get their warmth. Because snakes, they are what we call ectothermic. They rely on the sun. In order to get the energy they need to move about, they have to soak up that energy. So this is part of their way of life. And they also do that by the sand, too. And so it's always important to remember when you're going tide pooling or even you're just going for a walk at the beach, you always got to be cautious because you never know what you're going to see at the beaches. Now, the other day, though, Greg here and I, we were going for a walk at another beach just south of here. El Capitan State Beach to be exact. We were going in the rocks at the tide pool. Oh, but we stumbled across another snake. A snake that we have to be very careful about. And that snake, well, I want you to look at this picture here to see if you can see this snake and identify what snake it could be. Well, here are the tide pools where I was on that summer day at El Capitan State Beach. Take a look at the rocks. Can you identify any creatures? Now can you figure out what I happened to see? Well, in fact, I actually stumbled across it. See that white rock above this rattlesnake? My right foot was on that rock. My left foot went forward, and I was about to take a step when suddenly I identified its rattle, one of those main signs of what kind of snake it is, the rattle. So I knew it was a rattlesnake, and so I stepped backwards, just like how you're supposed to do, to step away from the snake to give it its space. But later on, I went ahead and I got this picture here to share with all of you. Wow, awesome job. That was a rattlesnake. Well, let's go ahead and let's discover a little bit more about rattlesnakes and some of the other snakes that call our state parks their home. Well, now, I did want to share with you one of my absolute favorite species of snakes that live in our state park as well. Can you guess what species this could be? Take a look at its head. Right now, its body. Ooh, and how about its tail? Do you have any ideas? Well, if you said that this was a rattlesnake, you got it right. This here is our rattlesnake. Yep, these are the only poisonous snake that we do have in our state parks. This rattlesnake is. And so this is one of its skins that we have. And so there are a couple ways that we identify rattlesnakes. Well, the first way is we identify them with their heads. So you can see it has kind of like a pointiness to it. Kind of looks like a diamond almost. That's a very important characteristic of their heads. Other snake species like the gopher snake have a very narrow head, but these guys, they are pretty wide right there. And we also can tell too, because they're generally darker in color, and look at their diamond patterns that we see on their backs. That all tells us that this is a rattlesnake. But the most telltale sign of these is the rattle. Yes, this is a defense that it uses to try to scare away its predators. It might try to eat it or scare it, but these are their rattles right here. Listen carefully. Can you hear it? Well, and I know in my time hiking, I've ran into quite a number of these rattlesnakes, and every time I hear these rattles go, and ooh, they kind of sound like a sprinkler almost. But that is our rattlesnake. And when we do hear the rattlesnakes as they're coiled up, because they do coil up, right? We want to just step away from the snake. We just back up slowly and give it some space and let it pass through the trail, and then we can continue on our walk. That's something important to remember if you ever come into encounter with a rattlesnake. Wait a second. Wait, what was that? That's right. Yeah. Okay, I'll share that with them. Well, Greg and I wanted to share with you a little bit about some of the other reptiles that live in our park, because snakes aren't the only reptiles that we have. There's another species that lives here, right? Well, these species of reptiles, they don't slither. They actually have feet. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at them. And right here we have some lizard tracks along the trail. Look at those intricate steps that they take as they run across the sand. And do you notice in the center that line? I wonder what that line could be from. Well, that line there, that's from their tail. Well, let's see if we can find where the lizard may have gone. Well, if you look closely, here is the lizard who made that track. And here we have our very first lizard specimen. This here is a western fence lizard, one of the most commonly spotted lizards in our state park. What are some of the features that you notice about it? Well, this lizard here, it has a really long tail, doesn't it? Ah, and look at those scales. Those scales allow it to blend in with its surroundings. We commonly see these on like wood piles or in rocky areas. And occasionally in the sand, we'll see them being in lighter color than this. And look at those feet that it has. Those feet, they use them to help climb onto the different pieces of wood and other features in our park. Now this here, that is our western fence lizard. Now let's go ahead and let's check out another species of lizard that we have living in our state park. Wow, look at this right here. This here is a horned lizard. Wow, look at it. And so this horned lizard here has some spikes on its back. Yep, those spikes there are kind of like thorns. That helps them to protect themselves from predators. Some common predators of lizards are birds. You could think of a bird trying to swoop down and grab this lizard, but it might get a little scared when it sees those thorns that it has on it. That's one of its primary defense mechanisms. And look does this lizard have a long tail? No, not as long as our fence lizard. And look this lizard is blending in with its surroundings. Yep, the sand. That's where we find these are in sandy areas. And these guys are a little bit more rare to find. But these are still some pretty magnificent lizards that we have living in our state parks. Our Blainesville horned lizard, this is. Ants are a very important food source for lizard populations, such as our horned lizard. Lizards like this horned lizard are ectothermic. That means that they need the sun in order to get enough energy to move and to go about their daily life. Humans are endothermic. We produce our own energy from within. But these guys, they rely on the sun in order to do that. And hey, look, there's even lizards at the beach. Well, here we have another western fence lizard lying on the rocks here at El Capitan State Beach. Hey, fun fact. Did you know that when a tick bites the western fence lizard, studies show that there is a lesser chance for Lyme disease occurring? Yep, that means since we have a lot of these fence lizards on the west coast, there is a lower presence of Lyme disease. How cool is that? All right, everyone. Well, Greg and I, we thought it would be great to go ahead and do the Junior Ranger pledge with all of you, because that is something that we always like to do with every Junior Ranger program that we do. So what you're going to do is we're going to raise our right hand, all right? And we're going to say I, and then you're going to say your name, all right? So I promise to treat the earth and all living things with care and respect. Be thoughtful about what I do and how it affects others. Learn about the importance of nature and our heritage. Awesome job, everyone. You are all now officially Junior Rangers.